Alright, Shalom Yasharala. Before we go into this lesson, we give all honor, all glory, and all praises be to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. We give double honor to the apostles and prophets and elders of James Campbell and ask great mercy for the being for the 100% truth that have been currently edified under. Shalom to the elect, the tabernacle of David. And I'm Red Tazaria coming through this lesson. Now I want to identify a point here because we deal with the Jews and the Gentiles at the point in time just now, which we use exact same Romans to break down Romans, which is not hard to do. And this is why people have to read more and get a better understanding, because they want to read the whole verse, they want to read the whole chapter and miss the key points. So when we go to the key points, they say we nitpicking. Read the chapter and the key points is literally provided to you. So why not go? Why ignore the key points? That's all I'm saying. This is why we apply Isaiah 8 and 20 to the law and to the testimony. If they speak not according to this word, it's because there's no light in them. And the reason I bring it is because what many people fail to study. Scripture says, study to show yourself approved. One need not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Yet people are failing to study. They rather just read it through and say, oh, that's what it means, okay, and leave it so. Go into sometimes go to the scriptures. Sometimes go into it. Stop misusing precepts like Romans. Romans are specifically speaking about the children of Israel, the Gentiles, the Jakes that are in a gentile state of mind. We have to identify and understand that. It is not rocket science. It's making it plain for you. Yet you, because of your belief, would try to subside certain precepts because it might make a dent in your belief. Like, why? Why are you doing that? Why is it that we read all the scriptures and break it down, but y'all read all the scriptures and remove some? That's my question. It means you're not studying. It means you don't have the understanding. So let's get a precept, all right, which we could add to, and we already know this precept, John chapter 7, and you all know exactly what I'm going at, all right, and verses 35, straight to the point as per usual. You go from the Pharisees, right? Right. It says, and the Pharisees heard that the people murmured such things concerning him, and the Pharisees and the chief priests sent officers to take him. Then said Yahushua unto them, yet a little while I am with you, and then I go unto him that sent me. Of course, they misunderstood. It says, ye shall seek me and shall not find me, and where I am, thither ye cannot come. Then said the Jews among themselves, whither will he go, that we shall not find him? Because they misunderstood what he was saying, right? Will he go unto the dispersed amongst the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles? Right, as mentioned right here. So when you and the reason why we had to make this more understanding to you is because what they understood who he came for, because it's according to prophecy. Let's get that precept immediately. Come on, you get in Ezra, Ecclesiasticus, and then when you're going on to the model lesson, we'll get the next point again, because maybe it will help you understand. It says, in the waves of the sea, and in all the earths, and in every people I got, in a nation I got a possession. With all these I sought rest, and in whose inheritance shall I abide? So the creator of all things gave me a commandment, and he that set me, that made me, caused my tabernacle to rest, and said, let thy dwelling be in Jacob, and thine inheritance in Israel. So who is he coming out of, and who is he coming for? We just read it. He created me from the beginning, before the world, and I shall never fail. In the holy tabernacle I served before him, And so I was established in Zion. Likewise, in the beloved city, he gave me rest, and in Jerusalem was my power. And here it says, and I took root in an honorable people, even in the portions of the Lord's inheritance, which is who? The Israelites. Thine inheritance in Israel. Another precept to add to that before you continue. It says, and we know this precept by now, it says, for the division of the whole of the nations of the whole earth, he set a ruler over every people, but Israel is the Lord's portion. So who is the Lord's inheritance? The children of Israel. Who did Yahweh send to be out of Jacob and for Jacob? Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, who we know as the Son of God today. So that's why when you go back into this precept, it could not have been identified as anything extra, like, oh, he going to the Gentiles. You see? That makes you see? Because they don't read back to the history line. They go straight up and say, the Old Testament, they not done away with. You don't understand that. This is the mindset of these people out here. Because when you go into the definition of the word Gentile, it carries you back to what? Dispersed. And it goes on to say, a scattering dispersion of Israelites dispersed among foreign nations. And it says of the Christians scattered abroad among the Gentiles. And we know the Jakes, the Jews, especially the prophets to be exact, was called Christians. It was not a positive or a productive term for them. But they are accepted because why? They were followers of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach themselves. So if somebody's trying to use it as a derogatory term against me, and I believe and I follow the master, and this is what he using, oh, you are follow, trying to mock you, or you are believe, a follower of he. Okay, yes I am. That's all it is. But let's keep going, because you know how they are. Right. It says, as you continue, the dispersion, especially and concretely the converted Israelites residents in Gentile countries, which are scattered abroad. Even the definition is telling you who it's talking about. So going back into the chapters, it says, then said the Jews among themselves, whither will he go that we shall not find him? Will he go unto the dispersed among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles? So the dispersed that are among the Gentiles, the dispersed diaspora is also known as the Gentile. It says, would he then go unto the dispersed, to the people that are mixed up amongst the Gentiles, which are also known as Gentiles, which we know that are according to the scriptures and definitions in your Strong's Concordance, that they are Jews, that they are Israelites. And very good example, because you have to remember one thing according to in the curses in Deuteronomy 28, you get a precept immediately. Verse 64. As it says, what? And Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which even thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. So we know according to prophecy and according to the curses, which is prophecy, what would have taken place to us, at least until Yahweh Shai comes. So what we know is exactly what's going to be happening unto us, because it's a guideline book given unto us. So with that understanding, let's fully show how the Israelites become Gentiles. But when you go into the book of Maccabees, it gives a proper answer. Not to mention that same book of Maccabees is the history major part in history, showing how the children of Israel became outcasts of Israel and how they became a Gentile state of mind or heathen. Which again, no many times you brought up and people try to misunderstand and choose not to like. But at the end of the day, this is not our history alone. No? These histories is in the Jewish encyclopedia. And I've done in many lessons on the Jewish encyclopedia itself, showing you what it says. Which lines up with what? The Maccabean history. So no matter how you try to bend and twist, this is an undeniable fact. Let's go into it. Let's go to Maccabees immediately. Alright, this is the book of Maccabees, first Maccabees chapter 1 and verses 11 as we get directly straight into the point. Right? It says, in those days went there out of Israel wicked men. Wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrows. So it goes on to say, so this device pleased them well. So my question, when you decide to go and make a covenant with the heathens, what happens with the covenant with the Father and you? You are cutting ties with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai and his holy covenant that was given to you when you decide to go and make a covenant with the heathen. Which is why in the process in the New Testament in Romans, majority base of the understanding of it was to reconcile the children of Israel back to the Father because they were in a Gentile state of mind, which is why they were called Greeks or Gentiles. We understand that because they had to be brought back to him because they once with him and broke the covenant that they had with him by exact explanation given here. I mean, let me get a precept before you continue. I go into the book of Deuteronomy chapter 7, a good example, and verses 3. The next precept we'll get is Leviticus. So let's go into this one. It says, right? I think it's Deuteronomy 7 verses 3. Let me see. Right, it says, verse 2, it says, Deuteronomy 7 verse 2, and when Yahweh thy power shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. And he said, and thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. We are not supposed to make any covenants with the heathens according to the scriptures at the end of the day. We'll get an next precept to show that, because when we do so, we are severing the covenant that we have with the Father. And when he decided to exile us, we have no excuse. Because guess what? We broke that covenant, which we did and time again by our forefathers. And we know this. So let's go back into the precept as we continue. It says, so you see, Jake's wicked Israelites decided or agreed upon going to the heathens for assistance and being part in their ways and their country. This is what it's going into. I'm going to pause.